Hello everyone, welcome back. We're going to be talking about this Veper AK 308 rifle. Okay, so I have talked about this in the past. I've shot this at 600 yards. I wasn't too crazy about the groupings I was getting at 600 yards. I've shot it like when I shoot at 100 yards, 200 yards in the past. Again, I wasn't too crazy. It looked like it was shooting about 6 MOA. I wasn't sure what was going on with that. And I said, you know what? Let's shoot this at, I took this to a different location where I was shooting 300 yards and 400 yards. And the difference, one of the differences is that I changed my hold on this, right? Because of this ugly stock that this thing has on here. I mean, it may look nice, but it's just hard to shoot. It's almost impossible to take a sniper hold. It's just very uncomfortable. So what I did is I gave up on trying to take a sniper hold, and I was just holding the gun over here, right, and shooting it bagged like this. It just ended up being a much more comfortable way to shoot it. Okay, so I shot it at 300 yards. Okay, and I was using this American Sniper 7.62 by 5.1 ammunition, 149 grain. Now the reason why I used this is, number one, I'm trying to get rid of this stuff. It seems to be like a little bit on the less accurate side, and also it seems to be I've run it through a chronograph. It is less power, right? It's less powerful. So you know, as I'm comparing it to different ammunition, so I said, hey, let's use this. Now this Veper AK does not have an adjustable gas block on it, so I don't want to be beating the gun up too much. So I've got like my Freedom ammunitions, which is pretty hot 308. I didn't want to run it through here because if I end up beating up this gun over a higher round counts, I can't get replacement parts on this. They're not importing the guns anymore. They're not importing parts. Right, it's a Russian-made gun, so that's why I'm like, okay, let's shoot this with the lighter ammunition. Okay, so I shot it first at 300 yards. Okay, and I was shooting it benched. All right, so the group took 5 shots, and that's the ones with the square here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5th one out here somewhere, right, or off the paper somewhere. So the 4 out of 5 was at 13 inches at 300 yards. So that's not bad. Okay, I thought that was pretty decent. And then I moved back to 400 yards. Now, when I got to 400 yards, I had a hard time finding a difficult position because the problem with this gun is, like, my bipod is an M-LOX. I can't attach my bipod to this. So I had basically a bag, and when I tried to put this on the ground, right, tried it like different ways, I just couldn't get high enough, you know, to get on my target at 400 yards. So I ended up shooting it with like an improvised kneeling position. So I was kneeling, right, with basically the gun resting on the bag in the front, but it was like a pretty awkward position, right? So it was a realistic field condition, right, at 400 yards. Okay? So not like super steady, but still at 400 yards, my hits, okay, at 400 yards was 1, 2, where are you? Hold on, oh, over here. 1, right? So there's a man-sized target, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3. So we got almost like 3 headshots, and then 1 way down here, which is basically just on the body. So this is like this paper is like the size of a man, you know, the size of a half a man. Okay. So here, let me fold this up. So at 400 yards in this like supported kneeling position, we got 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one down here. I mean, I think that's pretty damn good. So I think that, and again, I was able to bag the front of the gun, and I didn't even try this sniper hold back here. I just held the gun over here, rested on the bag, and shot it from there. Okay, and I got that grouping. I think the 3 shots up here are 8 inches, right? So 400 yards. I got 3 shots at 8 inches, and then with the one down here, I opened up to 20 inches, and then one off the paper. Okay, so not bad. I mean, that's definitely combat accurate at 400 yards. The difficulty I did have, especially when I was like trying to shoot it like improvised kneeling, is because of the way the scope is mounted with the side mount, which I absolutely hate on AKs. I don't have the right height, so I'm basically needing to bring my head up a little bit, so that can be difficult. I basically got to have my jaw on the gun, so that can be a little bit difficult. At other times, I didn't have so much a problem when I was shooting this a few days ago, but at other times, a lot of times I just end up with eye box problems because of this incorrect scope height. Okay, I didn't have it so much this particular time. Now with a first focal, because the primary arms 1:10 by 28 SLX, so this is a 1:10 scope, but it's a second focal plane. So if this was a first focal plane scope, no problem, because this goes up to 10 magnification. I could dial back the magnification, let's say to 6 or 5, which will which will give me a more forgiving eye box. Because this is a second focal plane, and I needed to use the bullet drop compensator on this. So at 300 yards, I was using the 1 mil line, and at 400 yards, I was using the 2 mil line. And those mil lines needed to be accurate, so I had to be in 10 magnification for the bullet drop, the mil lines, to be accurate. Okay, so that's the problem of a second focal plane scope, and the reason why I don't buy them anymore. And I did buy a 1:10 first focal plane scope. Now this AK over here is not, this AK 308 is not a gun that I shoot too often, which is why I said, hey, rather than sell it off, because I was considering selling off this scope, I said, hey, let's try it on this gun over here, and let's see if I like shooting this gun more. Okay? And it seems to be working. I did enjoy shooting it. So these two, that seems to be like a good match for me. Okay. The only issue is with this is when you're shooting it, you pretty much have to have your jaw on the stock over here. All right, now you can't, because on my other AKs usually I change out the stock to an M4. This is not a standard fit, right? It's got like this diagonal thing here, so you'd have to to change this stock. I'd have to find one that is like specifically made to the Veper. It's probably going to cost a ton of money. It's probably not worth it because if you're going to spend, like, if I'm going to spend $200 on getting a stock, and I can just get another, because it's a 20-inch AR-10 upper, for $500 I can just get another 16-inch AR-10 upper. It doesn't make that much. It doesn't make sense to me to put that much money into a stock when you can just go buy, an AR-10. Okay, so that doesn't make any sense. So it just makes sense for me to just shoot this the way it is and just make the best of it. Okay, rather than try to change things out. And the other thing is, by keeping it the way this is, this is more of a collector's item, because the scope obviously comes off really easy. You just detach it, and then this is in its original configuration, the way it was sold. So that's how that's gonna stay. But yeah, there's that issue. There's that issue of the height over bore. And I did get these scope mount rings as low as possible. Okay. There is a little space over here. It'd be nice if they made a mount that sat a little bit lower. However, the issue with that is when they're shooting AK, the receiver flexes, right? So when you shoot the AK, the receiver flexes. So if it gets too low, the two might hit each other. I mean, I don't know how low they can go without the two hitting each other when the receiver flexes when you shoot it. Okay? So anyway, I wanted to share those shooting results. I was really happy putting this scope on this Veper 308, this AK 308, and shooting it at those distances, the 300 and 400 yards, made me like this rifle a lot more. Okay, because in the past I wasn't so crazy about it. I've thought about selling it off a bunch of times, but for that 300 to 400 yards, shooting 308, I think, you know, this is a light rifle with a scope. This weighs about 10 pounds, so this is pretty light. I think that's like a good niche. I shot a steel plate at that distance at 300 yards. It put a nice crater into it, so definitely effective barrier penetration out to 500 yards. Okay, if it gets crater steel. So drop some comments below. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know if I mentioned. Hold on. Let me give you guys some data as far as the energy. With the American Sniper 16-inch barrel, the energy was 2,000 foot-pounds, momentum 52, right? Compared to if it was a 20-inch barrel, because I shot it in the AR-10 with the 20-inch barrel, that's 2361 versus and 57 momentum, right? The 77 grain out of the 18-inch, 1,200. That's an AR-15, 1,200 foot-pounds with a 28 momentum. So, I mean, the numbers are good, but it's not, you know, it's not until you actually hit steel and you see the impacts on the steel where you're like, yeah, this thing is definitely good barrier penetration at that 300 to 500 yards distance. Okay, so drop some comments. I'll talk to you all soon. And check the subscription. So today I brought this here and I put a target out at 100 yards. And I shot 5 shots. And the 5 shots were 1, 2, 3, 4. One up here, and I'm pretty sure I pulled that. I think that's me over there. But regardless, I still got 3.5 inches at 100 yards. And then the 4 shots that that I'm pretty confident about, I'm inside of 2 inches. Okay,